Hey, everybody, and welcome to Tuesday. It's the first Tuesday in May. We have a brand new month, and I'm really excited to tell you what we have to offer to you this month. So, thank you for joining me. So, if you're joining me live, I would love it if you would let me know in the comments. I would love to be able to say hey to you. If you're joining on the replay, just do the same. Let me know. Tell me where you're from. What's your weather like? It's really pretty here. I wished I had set it up outside so that we could do this lunch live outside because the weather is, in my opinion, it's perfect because it's not too hot, it's not too cold, there's a breeze, so it's really nice, and the birds are chirping. We have a lot of birds around here, put out bird seed for them. I love birds. So let me know when you're joining, and I'm going to go ahead and get started. So we have a brand new month, a brand new theme, and I thought today the question we could talk about is how can we encourage you? And in case you're stumbling upon this for the first time and you're not familiar with me or From the Heart, I thought I probably should just tell you a little bit. So, my name is Pam Coxwell. I'm the artist and owner of From the Heart Art. I've been doing this business for over 20 years. It has changed and evolved throughout the years, but it's the heart of the business is to create art in a functional way, but in a decorative way, but in a way that brings encouragement and inspiration. So that's kind of like the driving force behind what I do. And with From the Heart, we make products with that artwork. So we have a website that offers the products that we make. We do things like prints and ceramic tiles and note cards, things that you can surround yourself with words of encouragement. Those things could also be given as gifts. We have a lot of people who shop with us for their gifts. And so I think that's one of our primary ways that we serve people is by providing beautiful decorative things that they can give as gifts. Another thing that we do with at From the Heart is I also do teaching because I have found so much joy for myself personally in creating. And so throughout the years, it's been on my heart to do that. And things have slowly on my time schedule shifted to allow me to do that more often. So we have two ways that I do that. So we have a monthly group called Lemonade Creative Hearts, and we do lettering. So I teach the ladies different styles of lettering. We use different, just basic lettering tips, and I show them how they can incorporate those to enhance their own handwriting. And then we also do what I call scripture journaling. We don't necessarily do the artwork in the Bible. You could if you wanted to, but we keep a notebook, a separate notebook, and that's what we work in. And so the fun thing about that is every month there's a new theme, and I base that theme off of our kit for the month. So it's like this trickle down effect, and that's kind of how my brain works. So we have the product side, and that's where we have a kit that we call an encouragement kit. And every month there's a new theme. So this month's theme, let's see if I can get it up here for you. This is the design that we're using, and this is the verse. So this verse comes from Psalm 16. It says, Lord, you are my portion and my cup of blessing. You hold my future. So what we do is we take that theme and we make products that coordinate with this theme, or we'll make several products with the same design. So let me show you one. And I'm going to show you how it all ties together. So this is one. This is a 4x6 print. And my friend Amy Green over at Amy's Art and Design, she made these for us. And I'm really tickled about how they turned out. I'm going to include a link so you can go see the other things that she makes. But it holds a 4x6 perfectly, and it's got this little stand on the back. And the fun thing about this is you can change these out. So the goal, what we encourage the ladies to do, is put one on here and just focus on that verse for the month, and put it somewhere you're going to see it, maybe on your desk at work or on your kitchen counter. If it'll fit on your bathroom counter, just put it somewhere that you'll see it, because the more often you see it, it's going to be going into your mind and into your heart. So that's our little theme for May for our encouragement kit. And I'm going to circle back around and show you the other things in there. So then the next step that we'll do is we'll take that same theme, and then I'll teach the ladies over in the Lemonade Creative Hearts how to letter that verse. And so for this month of May, we're hanging out in Psalm 16. And we're also learning to do a floral alphabet. So this is one of the traceables that I've made for them. And I'm showing them how in lettering, one of the things that the core of it is taking shapes. You learn to draw shapes, and then you put those shapes together, and that forms a letter. Can you see that? Well, in drawing, it works the same way. Shapes, like right here, these simple shapes, we can draw those, and when we put them together, it becomes a flower or a leaf. So that's what we're focusing on in our lettering group for May. So we're going to be lettering the verses that are included in the kit, and then writing them in our journals. So let me show you. So this is an example. This is one of the projects we have for May. I think this is the week 1 project. There's this. This is week 1. And I'm also teaching them how we can use watercolor pencils to color those. I'll show you one of the others, because this was a fun one to do. So I just took the different verses in Psalm 16 and broke them down and showed the ladies how we can draw these shapes to form letters, and then draw the shapes to form flowers. Last week, this is the one that I showed on our Facebook Live. Okay, so if you missed that, you can go back and look for that. Then these are the others. There's one of the verses, and then there's that. It's hard to know which direction to put it. This is the last week. This is week 4, I believe. And that's Psalm 16:7. It says, I will praise the Lord who counsels me. Even at night, my conscience instructs me. So I demonstrated a letter Z for that, for the nighttime. Okay, so that's how the Lemonade Creative Hearts works. We take that verse, and then we letter it, draw it. Then we have one more way. Let me show you. So we also have a group, and those ladies are the mixed media painters. So I'm teaching them, let me pull my little paper up, how we can use our creativity as a way to, well, one, for stress relief, because a lot of people need stress relief, me included. We can use our creativity as a tool to help us with stress relief, but also to as a way that we can make home decor for ourselves or to give to others. But it's also a good way to tell our story. And we all have a story, and your story matters. So for May, this is such a fun project. And one of the ladies has already said, you were really stretching us. Susan, I think it was, said that. So what we're doing in May is I'm showing them how we can take old family photos, like this is an example, this is my Meemaw, and make a pattern with that, like that, and paint it. Now, where did I put my project? Because I made this project, and we did the recording of it and got it ready for the ladies, and then I kept looking at it and thinking something's missing on that. I can't figure out what it is. And then it finally came to me. So I started working on the project again. So let me see if I can show you. Let me see if I can change my, hold on. Let me see if I can change this. I want you to see it bigger. You don't have to see me big. I want you to see the project. Okay. Oh, it's upside down. Hold on. Don't want to make you dizzy. Let me see if I can turn this. How's that? You see that now? All right, so I put together a kit for this one because I had some vintage pages, embroidery pages from an old catalog that was like 100, well, it was over 100 years old. So we put together a kit, and then I had this beautiful book of vintage ladies, and we put all that in there too. And this is what I made. And this kit is actually, I'm going to use it in May and in June because there's so much goodness and fun things in it. So here we are. This is where I took the photo of my Meemaw, and then I used it to create another lady. Her, if you see her photo, she's wearing pants. Let's see if I get it over here beside you. See that? And I took it and recreated it so she was wearing a dress. And I had some old sewing patterns, and I put that there for part of her dress and part of her belt. And because she was a seamstress, she was a wonderful seamstress, I decided to come back. I already put some string in there, embroidery string, thread, but I decided to come back and sew some stitches because that's some of the same colors that my Meemaw always loved to wear and decorate with. Then I put some little fringe at the bottom. I put a little heart right here with thread. Let's see if you can see that. You see that? And then put a little heart right there. And I'm going to continue to add some more stuff to it. Probably going to add a little bit of fabric, but that's what we're working on in May. So let me show you how all this ties together. Okay, so there's our mixed media project for May, and it's using our creativity as a way to tell a story or honor someone very special to us with old family photos. And we're going to do that with this project, but also in June. And we'll go in more in depth with doing some different dresses, like in the different decades. So I'm encouraging our ladies to just start digging through your photos and start pulling out some old family photos, and we're going to make some art with it. And you may decide that, like this one, I did it on a canvas, but I'm also going to use a watercolor book of spiral watercolor paper, and I'm going to do some in that as well. It'll be a little bit easier to stitch through. I was able to stitch through this, but it would have been easier to do it with just one layer of paper. But I was able to do it, and I feel like it helped pull the piece together. And I'm going to do more. So I also had these old vintage buttons, so I added that. And then these were some, she used to call them ear bobs. They're clip-on earrings, so I attached that. And I'm going to come back and add like a border of fabric, like a quilt, kind of like a quilt pattern there to pull it together. But this project is continuing to grow and develop as I look at it. And I wanted to show you that, just to say that that's okay. So you might be using your creativity to make something and it just doesn't seem quite right, whether it's a dish that you're cooking or an arrangement that you're making, maybe a floral arrangement, or it could even be in your garden where you're gardening some potted plants, and just keep looking at it. It just doesn't feel right. So that's how this was. And I was like, Lord, I feel like it's missing something. I can't pinpoint what it is. And that's whenever it hit me. She was a seamstress. I need to have fabric in here and some more thread. So I'm adding to it. And then I'm going to share the process along the way with my ladies in that painting group. Like I even added some stitches up here for her little hat that she was wearing. And I did some stitches there for the ear bobs. And there'll be more. So I'm going to show it throughout the month as I add to this piece, and I'll show it as I begin my notebook of vintage dresses that we're going to be working on. So this piece here is teaching how we can use our creativity as a tool to tell a story or to process a story. That's our mixed media group. So let me move this out of the way. I don't want to lose that needle and step on it. And then this project is our lettering group and how we can use our creativity as a tool for stress relief also, but also to help us write these powerful words on our heart and in our mind. And this technique, I think, would work even, I'm using it for scripture, but I think this would work even if you're studying something, like you're studying a subject. I know that in school, like, did you ever have to write sentences for talking too much? But as you write those words over and over and you're paying attention to what you write, you're intentional about what you write, it's actually going into your mind and your memory. It can help you learn those things. And it was very powerful when I learned that myself with painting pots. I used to paint clay pots a long time ago. And I had created this design of fruit. And so I was painting the fruit, and I don't remember if it was in a Bible. I don't remember how, but I was reading in Galatians 5 about the fruit of the Spirit. And I decided that I would write the fruits of the Spirit around the rim of that pot. And it sold really well. So we were hand painting a lot of those pots, and I was writing the words on there and realized I'm memorizing these verses. I know the fruits of the Spirit because I've written them so much. And that just was a springboard because I saw how powerful that was in my own life. I started putting scripture verses on my artwork. So all of these years later, now I'm getting an opportunity to teach other women how they can do the same thing. And with this, we're doing it on paper. So what if you were trying to learn something, if you were taking a class or something like that, you could use this same technique of practicing your shapes, drawing your shapes to form words, like in the alphabet over here. See if it shows up. There it is. So we draw the shape for this one here. It's this shape right here. So bring it down just a smidgen for you to see. So I drew this little shape, looks like a C, but it can be so much more than a C. So I can practice drawing that shape, and this could almost be considered doodling. So do you ever doodle when you're on the phone? I do. So what if I was intentional with my doodling time? What if I just started doodling the basic lettering shapes? Then one of the things I teach them is to add a downstroke. That second line is for the downstroke. So I add that like that. And then for this P, let me do it this way so I can show you the P. I wasn't paying attention. All right, so I'm doing that same shape. See me do that? Then I'm going to add that second line for the downstroke. Now I'm going to add this other little shape here. Add the second line for the downstroke. I can dress that little curly Q up a little bit, and there I have a capital P. Now let me show you one more thing that I can do, and I'm going to use a different color so that it kind of stands out. That, thought I had it handy. Let's see if this orange shows up. We'll try it. Let me come a little bit lower so you can see. So now all I have to do is draw like the vine, like going around it like that. And I can do just some simple little shapes here. And there's a leaf. Can you see that okay? And then I might do a leaf right here, another little leaf shape. And another one here. And there I have a vine. to decorate my pea so that I've got a pea there. Let me see if I can add another little shape right here in this little spot, and it can become a flower. Just real simple little shapes. So I'm going to turn this over so you can see it on the back. I'm going to make it bigger so you can see it. All right, so this shape right here, that's a simple shape, isn't it? But it's a common shape. It's a really easy shape to draw. And if you think of this as drawing, it really helps to think of it as drawing. So here's another shape. All of those are just simple shapes that we can put together to form leaves and also flower petals. So that's what we spend our time in May doing. We're going to use these shapes like this one right here, and we're going to put them together, and we're going to make some flowers. And then we can do a little stem here. That's just another simple shape. It's all in how you think about it. It's just a simple shape. It's not hard. It's a simple shape. Then we could make this shape right there. It's that easy. And then come back right here, and we'll do the flower center. And you could consider these little doodle flowers even. And then we could come in right here and do a little doodle, little doodle. You can do that. So these are some of the pencils that we'll use this month. We learned that these are not easy to find. So you could use any brand of watercolor pencil. The main thing is you want to use something that's water soluble. And a lot of times you'll see it on the pencil. It's a little picture of a brush. I'm going to just show you on this one. It doesn't show it on this. But if you look on this case, it says use them with a wet brush or dip the pencil in water and draw. So sometimes you have to do a little bit of detective work to figure out if it's water soluble, but that's okay. It's either going to say it in the description or it's going to have a little picture of a brush. I thought I had one handy. Here it is. Here's one that shows. That's what I'm talking about with the picture of the brush. Can you see that? I think my camera's not zeroing in on it. So that's what we're doing in that project for May. And there's a new lesson every week. There's a new verse. So in May, we're going to be in Psalm 16, but we're going to be breaking it down, and each week is a new verse so that way it's not as overwhelming. So if you look at this one, you can see example now of those shapes that I showed you with this paper. Can you identify them? There's this shape, and that shape. That's all this is. So if you're interested in learning how to use your creativity as a way to help you, whether it's scripture or other words of encouragement, this is such a great way to do it. And we've got room, and I'll put a link in the comments if you want to join us, because this particular theme is very special. So let me show you one more thing about this. I ended up being sick last week. I was going to show you this last week and then show you the kit. So I'm kind of showing you a little bit of both, but I'll be back and we'll talk more in depth about the lettering. I'll do some more. So this verse is talking about, it says, Lord, you are my portion and my cup of blessing. You hold my future. This is such a good verse if you struggle with a little bit of worry or anxiety about what's going to happen. And I know that for me personally, I will struggle with that. Sometimes it's worse than others. And these kind of verses really help center me and bring me back to He holds my future. He holds my future. So writing that over and over right there, it helps get that in my mind, writing that over and over. Lord, you are my portion and you are my cup. This is such a good reminder if you struggle with being afraid you're going to be left out or afraid that um, you're not going to have what you need. This is such a good verse. And we're going to be writing it all month long in May. So that's just a sneak peek inside the lettering and how that's one way that we here at From the Heart, me, the ladies that help me, we can encourage you. And it's through lettering, it's through using your creativity to help you get those words of truth in your mind and in your heart. And then to surround yourself with these words of truth, whether you put them in your house or your bedroom or give them as gifts. That's one way that we can use creativity to help ourselves and help others. So let me show you the other way. This, let me show you one more thing before we do this because I almost forgot this. This is a really old journal that I've worked in throughout the years, and I kind of forgot about it actually. And I was doing a little bit of cleaning and ran across it, and it was just confirmation for this month's verse. So I'd like to share it with you before I show you this other piece. So this is where I was, and I wished I had written this down of where I got this from, but this is where I was writing it down to break it down into bite-sized pieces for myself. So let me see if I can slide this over. So I'd already read to you the verse about the blessing, that the Lord is my cup of blessing. Well, read this. And I wrote this years and years ago, and it's fascinating to me how I can write things and then it's like I totally forget, and I read it years later and like, wow, that's really good. I should remember that. So this one says, what if the blessing that God offers are greater than just a pain-free life? I have a feeling that this came from a book written by Laura Story. She's the one that wrote the song. What is it called? Something about a blessing. I'll have to find it and I'll put it in the comments. What if things don't get better? What if there are blessings that God offers that are greater than just a pain-free life? That's something kind of deep to think about because He's the blessing. So let's read this next what if. What if it wasn't about getting better? What if that's not the blessing? We all want to get better, no matter what it is, but what if that's not the blessing? What if the blessing is about learning to do life while loving God and loving others? What if that's the blessing? What if we could do life while loving God and loving others, even in the middle of our disabilities or discomforts? So I was reading that, and it was just confirmation to me about this theme that we're doing in May. What if the blessing comes through raindrops and not sunshine? It's just something to think about. It really helped me with my perspective. There's been so much going on in my personal life, and I catch myself getting into this mindset of I just got to get through this. I've just got to get through this. I've just got to get through this, and then I can get caught up. I just got to get through this, and then things will be better. Looking for what's the blessing on the other side of this. But what if the blessing is in the middle of this? So reading this today, just stumbling across it, just out of all of these pages, this is the one I just happened to open. This is the one I needed. And the what if, what if, what if. So I don't know if there's anybody out there that needed that reminder as well, but I really needed that reminder today. What if the blessing is right in the middle of the discomfort? What if the blessing is right in the middle of the disability? What if? So I hope that helps in just a little bit, just to soak on that. And I'm I'm going to write myself a note right now so I don't forget, because it was such a powerful book that she wrote, and it was in regards to her husband's accident. I'm going to write myself a note to get Laura Story's book so I can tell you about it. And I don't remember the name of the song, but it's a very powerful song. And I think that I wrote this from that. Now, let me tell you the last thing. So I've already told you what are some ways that we can encourage you? We can encourage you through teaching you lettering. We can encourage you in the mixed media painting of how you can use your artwork as a way to not only stress relief, but as a way to tell your story. Let me show you one other way that we can encourage you. And I think so I already showed you this that my friend Amy made. Raise this up. So just like with the lettering and writing those words over and over and over, it's also very powerful to surround yourself with those words that you want to remember. You know, it's easy to remember the negative things. They get stuck in our head, stuck in our mind. But we need to, if you're around a lot of negative, you need to put that much more positive into, I picture it like flushing it out. So the thing that I love about this stand is, one, that it'll stand up like that, and it's pretty, it's thin, it's lightweight. She does these things for tiered trays. So this is a size that you could even do this as a tiered tray. But I really like it because you can change out the design on here. So let me show you. So we do this thing every month called an encouragement kit. And this is what I was supposed to do Thursday, but I ended up being sick, so I didn't get to do it. So the ladies and I, we work together and we plan out what can we make, what can we put together to encourage our ladies, because we consider our subscribers our ladies. And so we put together a theme, which this month is that design. So this is like a kitchen theme. So we have a flour sack towel. I feel like it's not showing up big. So this is the flour sack. Where are my words? Flour sack towel that coordinates with this design. And it says, "Blessed assurance, Jesus is mine. Oh, what a foretaste of glory divine." That's based on an old hymn. Then we're putting in this grocery list pad, or you can use it as a meal planner. I don't know if y'all do this or not, but I try and plan out the meals for the week, and it makes it so much easier, because I found if I don't do it, then if I wait till this time of day to try and figure out what we're going to eat, it's probably going to be eating out, or we're going to have a bowl of cereal. So this has helped me so much to plan out the meals for the week. So this is, and the colors coordinate. So there's a menu pad that's also in the kit. Then we have shareables. We always put shareables in here. And the reason for that is we want to encourage you so that you can encourage others. You know, it's hard to encourage others if you don't feel encouraged, if you're depleted. And I know this because I battle with this myself. So these verses that I share, it's verses I need. I need these things. I need to surround myself with these things. So that's why I want to share them with you. So we call these seeds, little seeds of truth. So inside each of these packets of the kit, we always include these little shareables. So there's enough in here so that if you wanted to, you could take the print. We're including a 4x6 print in this kit. So you'll get this print, but you could use it for your shareables. And if you've been in our encouragement kit club for a while, you've got some of these if you didn't already give them all away. So you could change these out. And the challenge would be to change them out, whether you did it for a week or a month, but learn those verses, read those verses, use these verses to renew your mind. Hey, Vicki, I'm just now seeing, I've been so busy running my mouth. I just now saw you're here. I'm glad you stopped by. So use these. So it doesn't matter. So whether you want to learn to letter or if you want it already done for you, we've got something. We've got something to help encourage you so that you can encourage others. So there's always shareables in your kit. And we include enough for you. So with this, there's one for you and one to give. So who can you give this to? These are good teacher gifts. These are good gifts to give to your secret pal. You can also frame these. And another sweet thing about it is there's a verse on the back too. So you've got a verse on the front, a verse on the back, and then we always include 2 stands. So there's a stand for you and a stand to give away. This one got circled around. Oh, goodness. All right. I'm not going to fight with that. I'm just going to do it like this. So you would put your little thing on the stand and put it where you can see it so that you can use this to renew your mind. The more you put positive, truth-filled things in your mind, the better your perspective on life in general is going to be, whether it's life yourself or others. So there's always 2 of these. These are the littles, and then we have the minis. So there's 2 littles and 2 stands for your littles. But you can also frame these. You can buy a 4x4 frame at Hobby Lobby. So they make really good gifts. Then we also include these little minis. These are perfect to fit in your wallet. So they're a little bit bigger than a business card, and there's a verse on the back, and there's also a place for you to leave a note. So let me move this one out of the way so you can see this. I wonder if we're losing our signal. I don't know if you can see or not. Let's see if we can swap back here. How's that? Okay, so look at this. You get 3 of these. You can put these in your wallet, carry them with you where you go. You never know when the person at the register needs a word of encouragement. You never know what kind of day they're having. You never know when the server at the restaurant could use a little encouragement. You never know. You could include these in with if you're sending a bill, a payment, tuck this in the envelope, put it in a birthday card. There's so many ways to use these. So I want to encourage you, if you are already one of our subscribers, to make it a goal to try and give these out by the end of the month. Lord, show me who I could share some encouragement with today. And by the time you get your next kit, try to have given these out, sharing those seeds of encouragement. So another good thing about this kit is you should get it in time for Mother's Day. So if you need some Mother's Day gifts, I want to encourage you to sign up, join us. This kit is called Lemonade Reminders. And the reason why, I need to wind this up because you're probably finishing up your lunch now, but let me tell you the quick story why. So I created a calendar, an art calendar, my very first art calendar. It was something I was wanting to do for a long time. So I created an art calendar and had it printed. And so the top part of it was an 8x10 print, and the bottom part was the calendar part. And so we got those, we sold them. We took pre-orders and sold them. We got them back and had shipped out the first batch of them, and one of the sweet customers reached out to me and told me, Pam, there's a mistake on the calendar. It's the wrong date. I had unknowingly used a 2020 calendar for the 2021 calendar, which we all know we didn't want to go back through 2020 again. And it was after all those calendars had been printed. So it was very stressful, but God used it in a good way because I was able to get them reprinted at a discount, and then I had all of that artwork. And so the artwork that was left over from those misprinted calendars, we used those to start our very first encouragement kit. So it's been a tradition now ever since then that I make the calendar for the year, and then those pieces of art, each monthly piece becomes the theme for that kit. And then we make products that go along with it to coordinate with the whole purpose of encouraging you so that you can encourage others. So why is it called Lemonade Reminders? It's called Lemonade Reminders because whenever we were working through all those stacks of calendars and I was telling a friend what I was thinking about doing, she said, wow, that's really making lemonade from your lemons. And that just stuck. And it reminded me of the verse in Romans 12 that God uses all things for our good, and He does. So that particular theme stuck because we all have things in our life that don't feel good. They don't, but they can be used for good. So, in example of this kit, it's a reminder that God uses all things for good. And we've sent out countless kits with hundreds of products throughout these past couple of years, seeds of truth and reminders of encouragement. So it's really special to my heart. So I want to encourage you that if you like encouraging other people, or if you like to be reminded of truth-filled things, I want to encourage you to join us. We have a few spots open right now, and I would love to have you join. We promise to send you something beautiful every month. We promise to send you enough to encourage you so that you can encourage others. But you need to go ahead and sign up because they're going to start packing kits soon. And I want to be sure that you're on the list if you want to join us. All right. And then if you're the creative type or you want to be creative, think about joining us for this. As we draw these shapes to make letters, use those letters to make words, draw shapes to form flowers and leaves, and make an alphabet, a floral alphabet, so that we can use it in a lot of ways to decorate things, but we can also use it to help us remember these powerful words that might help us with our perspective on life and what's happening around us, and to remind us, even something as simple as that journal entry that I needed to stumble on, or something as simple as this verse. We'll be writing this verse. So think about joining us. I'm excited about what we have coming for y'all in May. If you have questions, let me know. I'll do my best to answer in the comments, or if I don't know the answer, I'll find the answer. And if you're already one of our Lemonade Reminder subscribers, I just want to tell you thank you, because some of you have been with me since we started it, and you were part of the founding members who helped us fine-tune this on what's helpful, what is it that you need. And I just want you to know I appreciate you, because the Lord has used you to be a blessing to me. So that's such a sweet gift that you've been to me. And I know that we've got a group of ladies who are very faithful in our lettering group. And I thank you. I thank you, because that was also a dream, something I wanted to do, and it's also got the name Lemonade in it because we all have a handwriting. We all do. A lot of people don't like their handwriting, but what we learn in here is some simple basic things that we can do to enhance our handwriting and then use our handwriting as a tool that's going to help us and help others. So, wherever you want to jump in and join us on this ride, we would love to have you. Okay? So, thank you for joining me today for lunch. I hope you had a good lunch. And don't forget, let me know that you were here. Let me know in the comments so I can say hey to you. And I can look for you next time. I'll be back next Tuesday at noon Central Time. And I think we'll do some lettering next week. All right. So y'all go have a good day. Enjoy this second day of May 2. All right. I'll see y'all next time.